Dad, don't ask anything. Get out of the car now. Maya's voice exploded in my ear, a desperate scream that sent an icy shock down my back. He's about to dump you in a nursing home in another state. I saw the paperwork. He'll leave you there and take the entire inheritance. You have to get out right now. The call cut off before I could answer. The screen went dark. My fingers trembled on the phone while the sedan kept steadily devouring the highway. Evan, my eldest, held the wheel with an unnerving calm. A polite, almost counterfeit smile fixed at the corner of his mouth, as if nothing had just happened. Only 2 days earlier, he had stood at my door with an apple pie and a hug. "Come on a trip with me, Dad. Just the two of us, like when I was little." He said he'd booked a lakeview cabin, with a fireplace and quiet, so we could sit and talk things through. And I, who had lived too long with an empty seat at the table, believed him. I longed to be remembered, to hear a dad that wasn't rushed. Now, with Maya's scream still ringing in my head and Evan's silence filling the car, I understood. He hadn't invited me to talk. He wanted to erase me from his life. My name is Gus, 85, a widower with 2 children. 40 years as an agricultural technician left calluses on my hands from a farm in Red Cedar to a modest house near Riverton. I've never needed luxury. I choose the truth. And there, on that shoulderless stretch of highway, the seatbelt cinched across my chest, I realized the scariest thing isn't always out there. Sometimes the stranger sits in the driver's seat and he carries your last name. I didn't know that apple pie would be the key that opened a door straight into the abyss. If this story speaks to you, tell me the city you're watching from. I share a new chapter every day. 2 days after Elena's memorial, I was in the living room, leafing through her photos. Late light slanted through the dusty curtains. A porcelain cup clicked softly on the table. Knock, knock. I started. The wind chime quivered even though the door was closed. The door opened. Evan stood there, a smile arriving before the eyes. Pressed blazer, cold hands, an apple cinnamon scent far too strong. He came in, set the pie on the table, and hugged me, his hand on my shoulder for half a second, a shade too tight. "Dad," he sat down, his voice smooth as velvet lining. "I think it's time the two of us talked like we used to. Somewhere no one will bother us. No cell service." My heart skipped. I set the cup down. "Where?" I asked. "Short." "Black Bear Range," he shot back. "A cabin with a forest view, absolute quiet." He leaned in, added a little nudge. "I've already booked everything. Canceling would be a waste, Dad." I looked into his eyes. They slipped half a beat when I said, "Maya called this afternoon." Evan glanced away, then smiled again as if he hadn't heard. "Why turn the phones off?" I asked. "To enjoy it," he said. "We'll take a shortcut to make it quicker, stop for gas in the woods, then straight to the cabin, no neighbors out there." Friday morning he came to pick me up. The sedan fired up. We rolled out. Rusted road signs slid past the window. The radio squealed with static. The GPS flickered, then dropped its signal. On the key hook, the spare key, was nowhere to be found. "What's the cabin called?" I asked as we turned onto a narrow lane. "You'll know when we get there," Evan said, immediately switching to small talk that had no loose end to catch. The road tightened. The trees threw their shadows. The air inside the car grew heavy. I could hear the tick of my wristwatch. My phone, out of service till then, suddenly buzzed. "Maya," I answered. "Dad, listen to me, and don't hang up." Her voice cracked into a scream. "He's going to dump you in a nursing home in another state. I saw the paperwork. He'll leave you there and take the entire inheritance. You have to get out right now." I sat rigid. The seatbelt cinched across my chest. Evan stared ahead, too calm on the wheel. He didn't ask me anything. Not a word. I swallowed hard and slid the phone into my pocket. Outside, the signs grew sparse and disappeared. Inside, there was only my breathing and a thought swelling fast. This trip isn't for talking. It's a plan. Gusts whipped red dust against the glass. The asphalt broke into gaps. A rusted sign, pocked with bullet holes. Entrance to the Black Bear Range to 28 miles. The radio screeched with static. I forced myself to stay calm, slipped the phone into my pocket. Battery at 5%. No signal. I asked, steady voice. What's the cabin called? Evan glanced at the mirror. You'll know when we get there. The exact address? I already booked it. Canceling would be expensive, Dad. The smile snapped shut like a lock. Why do the phones have to be off? There's no service out there. That's the point. Point of view through the windshield. Blacktop turns to a pothole-scarred dirt road. No signs, not a single roofline. My heart sped up. My palm was slick with sweat, sliding on the phone's case. Then a chance appeared when we pulled into a lone, run-down gas station. Neon flickered on and off. The price board was missing digits. Evan braked. The pump outside went click, click. He spoke softly, but it landed like an order. Go wash up, Dad. I'll get the gas. Don't bring your phone if it drops and breaks. It's a hassle. The convenience store bell went ting as he pushed inside. I nodded, grabbed my backpack, and opened the restroom door. Restroom setting. A harsh chlorine reek. A mirror spider-webbed with cracks. A fluorescent tube stuttering cold blue-white. The door creaked. The rusty bolt clicked, stuck. I had to yank it once more to set it. I dropped onto the seat, fully clothed. My left knee stabbed as I lowered myself. Silence congealed. Only the drip of water and my own breathing. My backpack snagged on the handle. I tore it free. Breath hitching. The phone buzzed once, then went dead quiet. 5%. No bars. Through the gap under the door, a pair of unfamiliar boots passed by. I held my breath. No one stopped. Outside. Click. Click. The gas pump. Inside. Tick-tock the watch on my wrist. I counted under my breath. 1, 2, 3, 10, 15. I didn't know what to do, only that I had to wait. Then the starter. A cough. A groan. Caught. Gravel hissed under tires. I shot up, twisted the latch, stuck. Half a second stretched into a lifetime. The latch gave. I burst through the door. Reaction shot. Neon strobing across the cracked mirror. Out by the pumps, only Evan's red tail end shrinking down the road and vanishing into dust. I stood frozen between the raw stench of gasoline and the ghost of apple cinnamon on my sleeve. He had left me. No text. No call. As if the plan had always been to make me disappear. On-screen countdown, breath woven into the bed, 40 minutes, 39 minutes, and 41 seconds. The fridge hums, neon flickers. The glass door chime tings each time someone comes or goes. I asked to borrow the counter phone. The clerk wanted to see ID. I fumbled out my old driver's license. I got through to Maya. Dad, give me the station name and address. Her voice rushed, then snapped into command. Now listen. Sit near the emergency exit. Keep the phone on you. Do not go outside. I'm at Bear Creek Fuel, near the Black Bear Range entrance. I'm calling Frank, a retired cop. He'll be there in 40 minutes. He'll call out Gus. You just go with him. The landline crackled with static. Do not go outside, Maya repeated, sharper, then hung up. 38 minutes and 12 seconds. Sun slanted through dusty glass, laying across a tabletop stained with dried coffee. Raw gasoline mingled with the hot smell of thermal paper receipts. I pressed close to the window, counting cars the way you count notches of time. In my head, a quick-cut montage flashed. Red stamps, digital signatures, the box guardianship out of state, the line duration, indefinite, and long-term care facility deposit. Maya had traced it all. Evan exploited the power of attorney I'd signed for banking, filed for guardianship in another state, fabricated an authorization letter with a digital signature, and targeted my inheritance account. 25-7, a pickup roared to a stop at the pump. The engine note was exactly Evan's. I almost bolted upright. The driver rolled the window down, wasn't him. By the glass door, a shadow held still for half a beat. Neon blinked over a sign, security cameras in operation. The unit's red light blinked, antique, as if it watched without seeing. The clerk crinkled candy wrap. The AC hissed on. The silence thickened with gasoline. 10:32. My phone buzzed Maya's text. Frank is 8 minutes out. Do not go outside. I edged my chair over to the emergency exit placard. I gripped my wallet and phone. Only one sentence remained in my head. Enough. The door chimed. A long shadow fell across the tile. Mr. Gus? A low, steady voice. I looked up. A tall man with broad shoulders. Frank flipped his wallet to show an old police badge, held it at eye level for a beat, then tucked it away. His eyes swept the door, the convex mirror, the space behind the counter muscle memory of the job. He reached to silence the door chime so we could leave without drawing eyes. Let's go. From now on, you're not alone. He snagged a roll of tape and a black marker from the counter, and walking, jotted the suspicious pickup's plate on a strip, neat, efficient. We headed for the car. I didn't look back. Back at Maya's, I sat with my spine straight. No speeches, just action. Open wallet, clamp phone in my hand, breathe deep as if scoring a line across my life. From today on, no one signs my life for me. And one cold steel line, an inheritance can't be stolen, it's reclaimed from the unworthy. Sound. The wall clock ticks too loud. Fluorescents flicker. Late light slices the room into dusty knife cuts. Frank brings me back to Maya's house. I sink into the armchair. The room tilts a little, as if time has been bent. Maya sets a file stamped with seals on the table. Her jaw is locked, eyes rimmed red. Outside is safe now. Put your glasses on. Read the highlighted line. Flip one. The file. Shot. Close on a red resived stamp. A faint Orvale Care Network watermark. A thick swath of highlighter. I turn the pages. The paper's edge nicks my fingertip. My glasses slide palms slick with sweat. A 6-month deposit contract at a care facility in Orvale. A broad-scope power of attorney. An out-of-state guardianship petition. The e-signature matching Evan's login log. Duration. Indefinite. The signature here is forged. The notary seal. Different county. Maya points. Which clinic? I ask low. This one. Her nail taps the watermark. Orvale. 2 pages stick. I tug them apart. A checkbox appears. Involuntary commitment. Yes. Flip 2. The audio. Sound. Maya hits play. The waveform rises and falls. Room noise, glass clinks, the AC hums. The bed drops to mute half a beat before Evan's voice. Evan, recording. I've handled everything. He won't notice. By the time he does, he'll already be taken. An old man with 90 grand, just sitting in an account, letting it rot, is a waste. I'm not wasting it. I'm not wasting it. Cutaway. A photo of 6-year-old Evan holding my hand on the porch. Back to now. A vein jumps on the back of my hand. The water glass trembles. I don't speak. I breathe. Maya stops the audio on Evan's short laugh. 15 seconds is enough. A forensic audio analyst can match it if needed. Flip 3. Motive and witness. Noah, Evan's ex, got suspicious when Evan's voice went cold every time he mentioned you, Maya says, opening her phone battery blinking red at 8%. Noah backed up the messages, the timestamps, the screenshots. Shot. A screenshot shows 10:41 p.m. An audio file named Cabin Plan, M4A. Deposit date? I ask. Last week, Maya answers. Right after Evan learned about the inheritance. I swallow. My mind drifts to North Norchester. Abram, my distant uncle, childless, his wife gone early. When he died, I was the only next of kin. Not much to the world, but to me it was a sky opening. I told no one. I fixed the roof, bought good medicine instead of generics, and saved the rest for Lily and Ben. And Evan, he sniffed it out. Then staged the rest. Sound, pages rasp, the clock ticks 1 notch louder. Maya pushes over another sheet. This capacity assessment is fabricated. The doctor's name isn't on the state registry. Date? The same day Evan filed for guardianship. My glasses slip from my fingers. A stab in my chest. Maya catches them, sets them back on my nose, and says, plain, you need to know everything. I nod. I read to the end. No speeches, just counting facts. Shot. ECU on the rec button on Maya's phone to save to drive. The file turns green. Uploaded. I clamp the file shut. I stand straight. I draw a deep breath. Tonight we back up everything, I say. Tomorrow morning, bank, notary. One clean line, like signing my own name. From now on, no one writes my life for me. Audio bed. The cue dispenser chirps. The AC hums. A security camera pans. Segment 1. The bank fast, decisive tempo. Mr. Carter's counter. Maya and I stand with our backs straight. Q ticket A107 flashes on the screen. Mr. Carter pulls up a chair, lowers his voice. Mr. Carter, please read this for me. Freeze all external transfers. Sign here, I'll lock it now. Me. Permanently revoke all of Evan's representative rights. Two-factor plus biometrics today. Mr. Carter, dual control enabled. Real-time transaction alerts. Access restricted to you, password plus fingerprint. Audio, the biometric reader beeps. First attempt fails. Mr. Carter, frowning. Try a different finger, please. Beep, green light. He nods. 942, freeze applied. I place the old card on the tray. Clack. Mr. Carter hands me the bank shears and cuts the card in half power. Severed. Segment 2. Notary divided by will's ceremonial, weighty tempo. Notary office. A faint acrid smell of stamp ink. Paper rustles. The notary reads slowly, clearly. Notary, revoke power of attorney full, effective immediately. Stamping now, sir. Thump. The red seal bleeds into the paper grain. 10:15. Revocation filed. I slide over the will packet. Me. This is the codicil, an addendum to the will. Strike the name. Final. The fountain pen stalls. I switch pens. Sherp. One straight black line through Evan. Notary. 11:03. Codicil notarized. Segment 3. In the car plus the text low, compressed tempo, the windshield glides past the blocks. Wiper scrapes a film of dry dust. The seatbelt presses my sternum. Ting. A message lights the screen. Dad, are you somewhere safe yet? Evan. My thumb hovers over reply. Then I lock the screen. Aside. Some questions are answered only with an eye contact and in court. Segment 4. The lawyer. Courtroom tempo. Sharp. A quiet conference room. Ava Hart taps her pen. Gaze steady. Ava Hart. What you and Maya brought establishes grounds. Fraud. A cross-state guardianship petition. Elder abuse. I'll move for a TRO, a cease and desist, and notify the Orvale facility that any intake will be treated as kidnapping. Me. Do it all. Today. Ava Hart. I'm also requesting the digital signature audit log, freezing all legacy authorizations, and reporting cross-state guardianship abuse to the prosecutor's office. Audio. The printer spits pages. Rustle. I sign. Thump. Red seal. Ava Hart. You're not alone in this. The days that followed were thick as chalk dust in the lungs. I stayed in Maya's living room window to the backyard, Elena's rose brushing the bars. Truth didn't crash down. It arrived in shards, scratching. Evan hid behind tactical silence, no calls, no questions. But the dust will not settle. I cut the card. I struck the name. I signed. From here on, the law will speak for my heart, and no one signs my life for me again. 10:14 p.m. The porch. Ambient. Crickets rasping. A wind chime ticking. The porch bulb faintly clicking. A thin ribbon of steam lifts from the coffee. Maya sets the cup down and brushes the back of my hand. A silence that needs no justification. Me looking up at the stars, thinking of Elena. If she were here, she would have seen it before I did. Maya tilting a smile. If she were alive, she'd have gotten there before any lawyer. Me, thank you for the shout. That sound pulled me back. We laugh sad, but still a laugh. The warm porch light is a small anchor holding the boat from drifting. 9:05 a.m. The next morning. Urgent knocks. Noah stands there, jaw set, knuckles white around a bag strap. He sets an envelope and a USB on the table with a click. Noah, I was wrong to keep quiet. Here are the times, places, recordings. I've backed them up, already sent them to the attorney. Me, taking his hand. You saved me. Go live your life. He's the one who has to pay. Noah chokes up, hugs me, and leaves. I don't know if I'll see him again, and it no longer matters. 4:27 p.m. afternoon. A slow car drifts past the gate. I hold my breath. Ping, an email lands. A cold subject line. For your own good. Evan writes, You're old, frail. I only want what's best. My throat tightens. I feel nauseous, as if I'd swallowed gasoline. The cursor blinks over delete. A single locking line to myself. Care does not come bundled with dispossession. I screenshot it for evidence, then press delete. The ambient hum drops a note lower. Stillness. Days pass. I walk, go to the store with Maya, sit on a park bench watching children circle and shriek with joy. Life inches back, but a light in me has gone out for good, the part that loved Evan in innocence. It died the day he planned to bury me in a nursing home for the sake of an account. If he thinks I'll disappear, he's wrong. I am not perfect, but no father deserves betrayal like that. From here on, he'll face not only the law, but the shame of it, trying to erase the one person who trusted him most. And shame walks ahead of any sentence. The key only turned on the third try. The gate latch screeched like a reprimand. The curtains still held a trace of Elena's scent. The armchair kept the groove of my old shape. The wall calendar was frozen on the month of the storm. I straightened my back. The house is still here. So am I. The light clicked on dust, floated in the beam like grit on a battlefield. My phone chimed. Ava Hart's voice was steady, compact. Emergency stay. Evan's guardianship petition is dismissed. The criminal investigation is open. The Orvale facility confirms he prepaid 6 months and signed as legal guardian. That's forgery. Get some rest, Mr. Gus. I exhaled, slept deep for the first time in years of waiting for the worst knock. The tree I planted the day Evan was born cast a long shadow. The bark had split, sap wept, and yet it still bore fruit. I wondered if the boy I once held could meet my eyes now. Likely not. Cowards work from behind. The green file folder lay open. Bills, taxes, certificates. Paper edges nicked the tips of my fingers. A letter from Uncle Abram, from North Norchester. Use this money to keep your freedom. Anyone with even a little of it is already rich. I almost lost that freedom, not to age, but to greed with my own last name. At the office, Ava Hart traced each line. Add a clause, no transfer without your physical presence and facial recognition. I nodded. Lock every door. While I live, I keep it. When I'm gone, it goes to the grandchildren. Life use for Maya. Evan, excluded. The stamp thumped. Red ink bled into the paper's grain, each thump severing another cord. The doorbell rang. Noah stood alone, fingers blanched around a bag strap. He set an envelope and a USB down with a hard click. I won't be a backdrop for what's wrong anymore. Screenshots, recordings, timestamps. I've sent copies to the attorney. I gripped his shoulder. You saved an old man. Now save yourself. Noah turned away, eyes raw. The kitchen smelled of roast chicken and turmeric rice. The floral tablecloth Elena loved. A cork popped. Lily hurled herself into my arms and held up a drawing. Here's you, and the sun behind you. The page went up on the fridge. The house breathed again. Evan's absence now had a different taste, the right amount of absence. I put on my old hat, the multi-pocket vest, queued for bananas. People nodded. Few words, just the regard you give someone who didn't turn his back. Mr. Carter greeted me with coffee and a firm handshake. External transfers frozen, 2-factor plus biometrics, dual control. Old card. Cut. If Evan comes, I said, treat him as if you don't know me. The bank shears clicked the last strap cut. That night I wrote a letter not to Evan, to Gus. Love from a child is a choice, not a contract. From here on, I choose me. The envelope went into the drawer beside my voter card and Elena's smile. Small-town murmur rose. Mrs. Monroe at the pharmacy whispering, Gus is back. The baker saying he'd seen me at the market. Family chats buzzing. Is it true? No one defended him now. The glue peeled, the skin stung, but the truth could breathe. At Evan's niece's birthday, Noah stood and said, "What he tried to do to his father is inhuman. If you think I'm exaggerating, walk that road with him." The room dropped its sound. An unknown number, Noah's mother, voice tight with thanks. "He saved me," I said. "Now he needs to save himself." Later, at Maya's, Ben and Lily barreled into me. "School said write about a hero. I wrote about you." I went home empty-handed and full-hearted, opened my notebook and wrote one line. When your family has seen your contempt, even silence becomes a verdict. Lights out. I slept like a man with nothing left to explain. Lead gray clouds hung low. Wind swept through the porch. Thunder rumbled far off. The porch light flickered once, then steadied. Knock, knock. Gus went to the gate. I cracked the door with the security chain in place. Evan stood outside, head down, hair hastily tied back, a rumpled blazer speckled with a few drops of rain. He looked up. "Dad, can I come in?" I kept the chain taut between us. This house has no room for lies. I planted my foot on the exact edge of the threshold. "Stay on the threshold." Evan pressed his lips together. His eyes slid past the doorframe toward the wall where Elena's photo hung. I shifted just enough to block it. He drew a breath. "Dad, I cut him off, my voice flat as a steel rule. "The things that needed saying, you already said when you shoved me into that car thinking you could turn me into a fool. When you signed behind my back and erased me from your own story to keep what is mine." My phone buzzed once in my pocket. I lifted it without taking my eyes off him. One more step and I call the police. The investigation is still open. The law is on my side. Wind lashed across the porch. Raindrops burst on his shoulder. Evan stood still, like a man hearing a sentence with no lawyer beside him. Then he lowered his head and turned away. His shoes scraped over the gravel, fading. I pulled the door closed. Click. The latch slid home. My hand stayed on the wood, tendons standing out from the cold. The visit brought no relief, and no remorse. It only confirmed one thing. The little boy would not be coming back. The man at my gate was someone who trades care for control, who puts money above a father's gaze. I went back to the living room, eased into the armchair, and took a long breath. I have nothing left to give. Love has limits, and he crossed them a long time ago. My closing line spare and sufficient. I am not someone to negotiate with. Maya looked me straight in the eye. "If he comes back, call 911 immediately. This isn't a conversation anymore. This is about respect." I nodded. A quick cut montage. The coffee machine rattling to the deadbolt, clicking to files stacked square and neat to the doorbell, camera checked to the porch light glowing amber. The notary office smelled sharply of ink. Notary. Codicil to the will. A park bench engraved with Elena's name. Confirm? I confirm. Thump. I smiled faintly. Justice knows how to console. She deserves a quiet place, and so do I. At the gate, Mr. Lawson stopped by. Most people would choose silence. I said, "Stay silent too long and you rot from the inside." He nodded, eyes dipping. A heavy brown envelope. Evan alleged. I was confused, manipulated by Maya. I called Ava Hart. "Ava, the objection just landed. I'm filing our response with an emergency motion now." "Me? Do it all today." A social worker and the court psychologist came by in turn. A fine rain blew in, dampening my scarf. Reports, logs, signatures straight and in line. Everyone who left the porch said, "You're clearer than plenty of younger people." I only smiled. An unmarked envelope, Noah's handwriting. He'd stepped out of Evan's shadow and backed up the evidence. Last line, "You are a wall that does not fall." I slipped the letter into my lifebook. Maya and I walked in. Evan wore a suit and dodged my eyes. Ava Hart presented clean and sharp. Documents, screenshots, audio, reports. Ava closed. "My client isn't seeking revenge. He is demanding respect, the very thing he should have received from the one tasked with protecting him." The room went densely silent. With each word from the judge, Evan's suit seemed to deflate a little more. The phone rang. The criminal investigation for fraud and elder abuse is officially open. In the interview room, I told it bare. The trip invitation, the counterfeit smile, the endless road, Maya's scream, the escape, the files, the recordings, the plan to have me admitted in Orvale under the pretense of a legal guardian. The prosecutor set her glasses down, exhaled. "You're stronger than he ever imagined." I understood. Speaking is an act of freedom. A local paper ran a short item. City attorney under investigation for fraud and attempted unlawful guardianship of his own father. No name, but everyone who knew understood. Evan's attempt to drain an old joint business account was blocked by the bank. Maya texted, "He's drowning in his own ink." Sunday, Maya and the kids brought cake and a board game. Lily chirped, "Grandpa, can we come every week?" I said, "Come with those smiles, you've got permanent seats." A soft morning, a court officer handed me a sealed brown envelope. I opened it slowly. Bold print, "Emergency stay of all Evans' efforts. Dismiss all allegations against me and Maya. Open investigation, fraud, forgery, elder abuse." The judge's closing line, "The party, Gus, demonstrates full lucidity, consistency, and independence." I drew a long breath and smiled, not the smile of happiness, but the smile of justice. I called Maya. She arrived, hugged me tight. "The truth won, Dad." I shook my head. "Not truth endurance. Truth sometimes stays silent. Endurance shouts." I donated Elena's old wooden chair to the town square, with a small plaque, "For those who remain." Every time I walk by and see someone resting there, I know they're leaning against a piece of my life, and that is enough. My house is lively again each Sunday. Maya hung a hammock between two trees. Lily bakes. Ben prods me for more farm stories. I keep writing page after page. I boiled my notebook down to 3 lines. A child's love is a choice, not an obligation. An inheritance lives in the heart, not only on a will. A name may sit on paper but no longer live in memory. If anyone asks what happened to my eldest, I simply say, the one who tried to erase his father erased himself from the story. From now on, this house accepts only what's true. This home shelters truth alone. Anyone who pretends to love just to steal its peace waits outside the door. If this story reached you, thank you for staying to the end. Please subscribe to and share the Father's Advice channel. Each day brings a new chapter. The next one may illuminate your own journey.